We just got a brand new Direct for Mario Kart World, and there was a lot of stuff shown off, but also a lot of stuff not shown off as well. I've got a lot of thoughts on what we've seen of this game so far, so plenty of videos will be coming in the near future about specifically what I'm super excited for and what I kind of think they might have dropped the ball with a little bit. But that's not what this video's for. Instead, today, I'm going to be going through the entire Direct and pointing out stuff that they didn't necessarily point out themselves, but stuff that is still pretty interesting and will definitely impact how you play the game here. Even in this somewhat lackluster Direct that didn't really introduce a ton of new stuff compared to the demos and footage we've already seen, there is a decent amount of stuff hidden here, and that's what we're going to go over today. So hey guys, it's Thomas from the Switch Stop, and welcome to everything you might have missed from the Mario Kart World Direct. Okay, first thing we have to talk about is this 1-Up Fuel badge. Nintendo did not touch on what this is at all, but it seems to be pretty important because it shows up in a lot of different places. First of all, you can see it on the select screen, specifically when you're picking your vehicle. It does not show up when you're picking a character, only your vehicle. You can see whatever submenu it opens will be activated with the plus button, and this is different from your character stats, which will be details, or settings like smart steering and whatnot. This is its own menu we just have not seen anything for yet. On top of that, these badges show up under different players once you finish a race. Not any computer players though, just normal racers. Lastly, we see the 1-Up Fuel badge on the menu itself all the way down at the bottom, which really makes me think it's going to be this game's version of like the stamp system from Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. My instinctive thought is that this will have absolutely nothing to do with gameplay, and rather just be stamps that you can add to like photo mode or something. But in that case, why is it there for the kart selection? Yes, most karts have decals specifically for like 1-Up Fuel or something, so maybe you can switch out the decal, but seriously, is that it? Being able to switch out a small decal on the side of your kart from like one fictional Mario Kart company to another seems like such a bizarrely small detail that why would they include that? No one was asking for that. As for what 1-Up Fuel is itself, well, it's one of those fictional Mario Kart companies that I was talking about earlier. There's a ton of these, like Banana Oil, the aforementioned 1-Up Fuel, and we can see a lot more of them on the backgrounds throughout the Direct. Will most of these different companies have their own badges that you can equip? It seems likely, but once again, we do not know if this will impact stats or really do anything meaningful, but it clearly is some brand new mechanic or system that no one's really been talking about simply because, well, we just don't know a lot about it. We'll have to stay tuned for more info. Next, I want to talk about one of the coolest things we saw in this Direct, and it was only for a couple of frames. This vehicle right here is so sick. Obviously, it's a reference to Rob, the toy Nintendo put out back in the NES, the character in Smash Bros, and the Mario Kart racer in Mario Kart DS. So yeah, Rob obviously has a history with this franchise, and it's cool to see him return even if it's not as an actual character, because this bike or whatever just looks sick. This will probably be what I actually race with, assuming it's not like an inside drift bike or something like that. I don't know, if the stats are okay, I'll definitely be using it, because it just looks really sick. I love the color scheme too with the red and white. Okay, moving on, we get confirmation of how you unlock Rainbow Road in this game. Now, unfortunately, it is not through any form of story mode, and trust me, we'll be talking about a supposed lack of story mode a lot in a couple of videos coming up soon. But instead, you unlock this course by playing through all the Grand Prix. You probably just have to finish first in each Grand Prix. We already know that you can score up to 3 stars like in past Mario Kart games, but also like in past Mario Kart games, getting up to 3 stars will probably only unlock different kart parts and whatnot, and for unlocking something as important as Rainbow Road, you probably just gotta finish first in each Grand Prix, which makes sense. But it is super interesting to see they actually showed a cutscene of Rainbow Road being unlocked. Now, this makes no sense to me. From what we've seen of free mode, it looks fun, but kind of like a side mode, and not the massive story campaign with boss fights and missions that a lot of us were hoping for. However, cutscenes is something that would be in that story mode, yet obviously we're not getting that story mode, because they would have talked about it here if they were going to. So, what is this? Is this just a cutscene that plays once after you unlock Rainbow Road? Is this part of the credits montage that you normally get after beating like the Special Cup? I have no clue where this cutscene will take place in the actual game. It seems weird that the only time we'd get a cutscene would be in something that only shows up once, aka when you unlock Rainbow Road. But yeah, I just wanted to point this out because this is not normal racing footage. This looks like a cutscene, and I mean, you could tell because there's a giant star floating through the sky to probably make Rainbow Road. Next, I want to talk about one of the most bizarre features I've ever seen included in any Mario Kart game, and that is rewind. What in tarnation is this, man? This seems horrible. Not only does it just instantly go against what Mario Kart is about, but it also just doesn't seem fun at all. You just press a button and go backwards in rewind mode. Not only that, but depending on how it's implemented, this could be unfortunately a pretty powerful mechanic, which is not what I want at all. Like, imagine you could use rewind to avoid items, or rewind a little bit to get into second place so the blue shell hits someone else. I'm hoping that this is something that just nobody uses because it's not powerful, but having the ability to rewind time for yourself, man, that seems kind of busted. In the fine print here, Nintendo did offer clarification, stating that this is for free roam and racing alone. Hopefully, that means that this is not in online and not in any form of versus race or multiplayer race when you're playing with a bunch of people on the same console, because if you're just using rewind in free roam, yeah, that makes sense. Fine, whatever, it's not hurting anyone. If you're using it in a single player race where it's just you against a bunch of CPUs, then yeah, still, I mean, you're not hurting anyone. I guess you can use the argument, let people play how they want to play. But I don't know, bro. This is not like an NES online game we're playing on the Switch that has like a rewind function. This is Mario Kart. Why are we able to just rewind time in an actual race? But again, whatever. If you can do it in single player, fine. If this is a feature in multiplayer and there's no way to turn it off, what the hell, man? Why would they do that? I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be super powerful. Obviously, it doesn't rewind anyone else, it just rewinds yourself, but I don't want this thing to be used at all. I have zero desire to be in a Mario Kart race and then have to use the rewind because it's the optimal tool to use to win the race. That should never be a situation. So I'm really hoping that that's not the case at all and that you just can't even use it in like online or multiplayer races, which seems to be the case based on this fine print, but who knows, man. Speaking of multiplayer, next let's talk about Versus Mode. Versus Mode has some really cool customizations they went over, like not just being able to choose one course that doesn't have any of those boring intermissions where you're driving from place to place, but also being able to choose two courses where you drive from one to another. Having the flexibility here is really awesome and will definitely add a lot of replayability. The intermissions in something like the Grand Prix, I'm not a huge fan, especially because every time you play that cup, it's going to be the same intermissions, and from what we've seen, the intermissions just look a little bit more well, in some cases, a lot of bit more boring than the actual races you would get in, well, any other Mario Kart game. However, being able to choose two courses and then the game just plots out a drive between them in Versus Mode will definitely add a lot of replayability. It's not entirely like you're getting a bunch of new courses, but in terms of like the options you can pick from the course menu, there are a bunch of new options here, which again, I'm extremely happy to see. I've been playing Mario Kart 8 since what, 2014 now? Hopefully I'm not playing Mario Kart World until 2035, but this will be the main Mario Kart game for the foreseeable future. So the more options they add in here, increasing replayability, increasing the different courses and layouts you can drive on, the better. Also, I mentioned it earlier, but I love that it's confirmed that you don't actually have to drive with these intermission things. You can just pick an actual course and drive an actual course, like Mario Kart. That is good. Speaking of Versus Mode, you now have up to 4 teams. This isn't something you might have missed because, well, they highlighted it in the Direct, but I did just want to point it out, especially considering when we made a predicting Mario Kart 9 video, like I think it was like a year ago now. The whole thesis of that video was that they were going to do 24 racers, and then we talked a little bit about how they could do 4 teams with 6 players each. All the comments were like, oh my god, they're never going to do this. Well, not only did 24 racers come true, but the 4 different teams came true as well. I just had, subtle flex, I guess. Last thing about Versus Mode, we can see there's an option here to only race 3 races. To my knowledge, never in Mario Kart history have you been able to start a Versus Mode game with less than 4 races. It would be nice if you could choose just any amount and you weren't stuck to like the predetermined amounts Nintendo will allow you to play. But yeah, just wanted to point this out because I've never seen a 3 race Versus Mode option ever in Mario Kart. Alright, let's talk about Battle Mode. First of all, we're getting Battle Mode. Woo! Yeah, it seems ridiculous to be happy over just the raw inclusion of Battle Mode, but well, again, I remember Mario Kart 8. Those were tough times, man. Technically, we did get Battle Mode, but it wasn't actually Battle Mode, because you were just racing on the normal race courses. Now let's take a look at Battle Mode in Mario Kart World. Oh my god, you're racing on the normal race courses. Okay. It's not that bad, at least from what we've seen, but it's definitely not good either. Certain courses like DK Pass and Moo Moo Meadows are shown off as battle courses, meaning, yeah, this is just the battle course. It's just the normal course. Maybe some parts are blocked off. And man, I cannot believe it. The fact that there are now 2 Mario Kart games that took Moo Moo Meadow, the racetrack, and turned it into a battle course? Why? However, there do seem to be some battle-specific courses. There are more hybrid ones that are kind of both racetracks and battle courses, like we see here with what I assume is Crown City. They have one of the main blocks of the city entirely squared off, and if you look at the minimap here, this does kind of look like an actual battle course. So even though it technically takes place on a racetrack, I'm not super concerned about this playing poorly. And we also see another similar thing with like this Bowser's Hall looking section. That's what I'm calling this, Bowser's Hall. Once again, this looks like a battle course. Not only does it look like a battle course, but the layout of it being like a concave circle, kind of all slanting to that giant lava pit in the middle, does kind of remind me of previous battle courses we've gotten. Something like Cookie Land, which was also a circle, also slanted in towards the middle, but didn't have that giant lava pit. You can also see in these battle courses where each team will start, as the map is actually color-coded to each team. Pretty standard stuff there. Oh, and we also saw Dino Jungle. That's another one of the courses that can be turned into a battle course. We saw that later on. Before we move off of battle mode though, I have to talk about the different modes. All 2 of them. From what we've seen, this game features coin runners and balloon battle. Man, this is really disappointing. With 24 racers, the possibilities were so endless for a lot cooler modes. 8 Deluxe's battle mode, which I was a big fan of, even included some awesome modes that would work really well here. Shine Thief with 24 players would be chaotic, but there's definitely a way they could make it work, turning it from kill the carrier to maybe a team-based capture the flag mechanic. Also, 12v12 is the perfect format for something like Renegade Roundup, and it doesn't look like we're getting that either. Okay, cool. At least Coin Runners has 20 coins now, because in this game you can pick up 20 coins instead of 10. That should make it a bit more interesting, but man, I am really disappointed on the battle mode front here. Next, let's take a look at this game's main new big mode. I'm talking about free roam. Now, before this direct, we didn't have the slightest clue as to what you could actually do in free mode. All we knew is that you can take pictures using snapshot mode, and we saw P-switches, question mark panels, and these peach coins. Guess what they showed us during the free roam section? Snapshot mode, P-switches, question mark panels, and peach coins. I'm not even gonna begin to talk about snapshot mode. It's cool if you're into that, but that, like, okay, it's whatever. We saw a couple of different P-switch challenges, mainly one where you had to grab a certain amount of P coins, and another where you had to dodge these rolling armadillos that I think are a reference to Mario Wonder, because there was a whole level themed around that, and reach the goal within a certain time frame. Yeah, this is pretty much exactly what we thought we'd get in terms of using the P-switches. I mean, it makes sense. These small little bite-sized challenges, if there are a bunch of them scattered around the map, which it seems like there are, will be pretty fun. What do you get from these bite-sized challenges? Well, we see Waluigi here get this Wario Motors sticker, which I would assume is just a new version of that 1-Up Fuel thing we started this entire video talking about. The Peach Medallion, on the other hand, seems to reward a Wario costume? I'm not sure. There's some silhouette of Wario here, though. Maybe because the silhouette is obviously still opaque, this just means that the player has unlocked another costume that they can then purchase with the Peach Medallions. If you have any better ideas, let me know down in the comments below, though. Unfortunately, the damn question mark panel doesn't do anything. Okay, that's obviously a little hyperbolic. It has to do something because, well, it exists. It seems to reward the player with this little badge off to the side, but, like, what is the point of this? We still have no idea what the actual incentive for doing free roam is. It makes no sense that they didn't show off any story mode related things here, because that is now 3 different currencies, or at least things you can do between the P-switches, question mark panels, and peach coins, but the incentive for actually completing these different tasks are still so unclear. If you have any ideas, let me know down in the comments below. I think the P-switch thing that rewarded the Wario's motor thing is very similar to the 1-Up badge we got at the start. You'll likely be able to equip different badges based on the different fictional Mario Kart companies. I think the Peach Medallions will likely be used to unlock costumes. That way you don't have to solely rely on stuff like the Yoshi Burger. And the question mark panels, I still have no idea, man. What is this? What does this do? It says you've activated a question mark panel here, but nothing changed. No coins spawned or objectives to complete. Is this just something you're simply doing to check it off on your map? Hopefully not, but that's kind of what it seems like. Next, we move to online. The major thing here is that online now has 3 different ELOs. I would assume this is also going to be called VR, in the same way it was for Mario Kart 8, but in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you could race online, improving your VR for races, or you could also battle online, improving your separate VR for battling. Now you have a separate VR for not just racing, but also knocking out, I don't know, whatever you call playing the knockout mode. They are really hamming up this knockout mode here. I mean, I'm glad that this is an extra mode that you can play online and has its own ranked system and everything, but I don't think this is as big of a selling point as Nintendo thinks it is. It will be very fun. I'm very glad we got it. This is something I've asked for a while, even in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I don't think it's like a crazy selling point or anything. I am glad they added it to the online though, especially with its own ranked system. That's just another thing to grind, another number to watch go up. I'll take it, man. I appreciate it, Nintendo. They also went over some stuff with the Switch 2 camera. Apparently you can use it even if you have 4 people playing on the same Switch, sure. Also, man, why are you smiling? You just got hit. This is not realistic at all. It should look like this. I don't know, man. The Switch 2 camera stuff seems kind of cool, but at the same time, I don't think I'm ever gonna use it. I also can't imagine that many people using it, just in general. I guess we'll have to see. But now that we've seen it implemented in Mario Kart World and in other games, specifically Switch 2 edition games like Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV, it seems like it's mainly just gonna be showing your reaction on the TV screen. Which, yeah, sure, for online, I guess that makes sense, but for like Mario Party and Mario Kart, you're sitting next to the people anyway. You don't need to see their reaction on the screen. You can see it in real life. I do not really understand the point of this at all. Like, it's a cute gimmick, but like, okay, yeah, that's all it is. Moving on to the tracks themselves, man, they look really good. As much as I've been a little bit negative in this video, one thing I cannot talk bad about are the different tracks. Every single track we've seen in this game looks straight up gorgeous. Obviously, some of them look a little boring, specifically the ones that are likely going to be towards the start of the game, but that's kind of just how that works. The tracks that will appear later on as you work your way throughout the Grand Prix all look super entertaining. This Mario Galaxy inspired one, Starview Peak, looks super cool, and once again, Boo Cinema looks like absolute cinema. Every single frame we see of this track gets me so stoked. It genuinely looks like one of the most creative tracks we've ever gotten in the franchise, and at the end of the day, even if there is a lot I am concerned about this game, and even if I'm not sure it justifies the $80 price tag, once again, we got a video coming out about that really soon, so if you want to see it, hit the subscribe button. But yeah, everything I see about this track in particular, it's like, alright, yeah, I mean, it's a new Mario Kart, they still got fun tracks. I'm gonna be playing it, I'm gonna be enjoying it, I'm gonna be having a great time. Speaking of a great time, one of the coolest things we've seen in this entire game so far are the other vehicles that you can get in within your vehicle and then drive around. There's this big semi-truck you can drive around, fellow YouTuber Get Mads found a boat that you can drive around, and now we got a couple of frames confirming that there is a plane you can drive around as well. I don't know how realistic it'll be to actually use any of this during the races, but at least it's another thing to do in free roam mode, because again, free roam mode is really concerning me right now. It seems so dumb to say this, but I genuinely kind of think Nintendo made a massive open world for Mario Kart, and there's just not a lot to do in that open world. Compare this to something like a Breath of the Wild, I don't know, first open world game that comes to mind. The Peach medallions and question mark panels seem to be kind of like finding a chest out in the open world, or finding a rupee under a rock. The P-switches are kind of akin to Koroks, because you have to complete a little challenge to unlock whatever reward they give you. But, well, that's about it. We still haven't seen any sort of like missions, or really anything that would make free roam more than just a tacked on side mode and something to do online while you're waiting for a race. Let me know what you guys think though down in the comments section below. Those were my brief thoughts on the Mario Kart World Direct, on top of pointing out everything I found that you guys might have missed, but let me know anything I might have missed down in the comments section below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day. I'm Thomas from the Switch Stop signing off. Peace.